Welcome back to Four-Wheel Drive Adventure Crew. My name is Voss, and today we're playing in the garage. It's a stormy day outside, but in front of me here we have my sister's new engine that we're about to put together. This is a bottom end out of a 2000 Grand Cherokee, and we're gonna have a 4.6 stroker in her Jeep as soon as I'm done assembling this motor. I have all the parts around me that I need. I just had it all machined and everything has been cleaned and everything's up to spec at the local machine shop, and I'll have a link to their location here in Sacramento down in the description for you guys if anybody wants to do something similar or they need their head surfaced or anything like that. Kenmonth Engine Company is a really good company so far. They did all the machine work for my brother's green Jeep that's in Washington right now, and he loves it. He loves all that horsepower and torque that he has. So since we're building enough road overland XJ for my sister, she already has good gears and axles, but now she just needs some more power to be able to keep that heavy vehicle going up a hill without revving to the moon. As we all know, 4.0s don't make a lot of power, but they have enough torque. So this thing's gonna make us a lot more torque, and I'm about to start assembling it. I'm gonna start with assembling the crankshaft and all the bearings and everything. So we'll start by flipping it over. So this whole block was hot tanked, and it is perfectly clean. It's all dry. It's been sealed in the bag for me for a couple days since I picked it up. But now I'm just going to start throwing the bearings in, and then we're going to start lubing them up, and then we'll lay the crankshaft down and go from there. So all the parts that I got, we got some of the good bearings and cam bearings and main bearings, so by Menhe, by Klevitz. But I got everything from Klet. I'll leave a link in the description, the company where I'm getting the kits from. And this is basically a stage 1 stroker with the stage 1 cam. Most engines that you can buy online that are strokers, I don't think they come with aftermarket cams. I think it's just the bottom end, which we're getting. The crankshaft is a Scat Eagle 9000, so this is not a reman crank. This is a brand new casting and stuff, so these are brand new parts. They're not reman, so you can get the 4.2 engine rebuilt like we did with my brother's Jeep. We got old parts off of a 4.2 and had them remanned, and that's what we threw inside his. But for my sister, we're going a little bit more expensive route, and we bought everything brand new. So everything's gonna be a lot better, a lot fresher than what we did for my brother's. Okay, now that we got everything in there, we can lower this beautiful. Okay. And this is the lighter crank out of the 4.2s. Okay, and this is the proper, because we got the bigger gap here. Okay. And all this assembly was balanced already, so I don't have to do much to it because the machine shop took care of everything for us. All right, I got all the rings on the pistons. You just got to rotate the rings so that they don't match with the bottoms or tops. I mean the upper and lower. So this is the way we're going to be assembling them. So I just got to loosen up the bolts here because these were reconditioned. These are the 4.0 rods, but these pistons are made to go with the long rods, as they call them, because the 4.2 has the short rods, standard pistons, but because we're using a kit, they got us the deep dish pistons, and that way it doesn't raise our compression too high. So let me loosen all these up and start putting the bearings inside of the rods, and we can start slowly dropping them in one by one. All right, that's top dead center on the first cylinder. All right, time to flip it and torque the caps on the rods. 33. Let's get the cam in here. So I gotta lube up every journal, and that's gonna be a little tricky to get to. All right. Got that all lubed up. Now I'm gonna lube the cam, and we're gonna get it installed. And this is a stage 1 cam as well. Assembly grease for the cam that comes with it. Let's use it. They recommend it. We will use it. Alright, putting in the cam is not that fun, or is easy, because it has to go through all of these bearings at once. And I don't want to bang them up either. All right, it is in. Kit comes with the timing chain and everything else. So for offset of this cam, to make sure timing is all staying correct, it comes with the chain, which you just throw it on there and line it up, and it's gonna be good to go. I know we're supposed to be looking like that when we're done with it. So what I'm going to do is we gotta tighten up the cam. So if you can see, there's 2 dots that we are lining up. Two dots need to be pointing right at each other. And then what we do is I just put the chain on both of them. Okay, they line up. So that means we can tighten up the cam, and we're going to be one step closer to finishing up. And with this type of gasket, you do not want to use any silicone. Every time I tried using a silicone, this thing leaks. So just make sure everything goes in the grooves everywhere. And that's the best way to seal it. So now I'm just gonna tighten it up and then we can flip it over. All right, got the oil pan on. Now we just gotta flip it over and start getting it ready for the head, because we have a completely brand new, totally redone head. But before the head, we got a few other cool things that we got to put in here, like lifters that been cooking inside this jar for a while. So now we're gonna go fishing for some lifters. And these are the new lifters that came with our cam kit, stage 1 stroker kit, stage 1 cam for this engine, so it'll be a lot more powerful. All right, just gonna clean up all the oil where it doesn't need to be. And then if we have any in the water chamber, we'll get that out after we get the head on here. So we're using MLS head gasket, not a paper gasket. MLS is a multi-metal level or multi-level metal gasket, not a paper. So this one keeps things a lot tighter between the head and the block versus the paper one, which we have blown a few times on the black Jeep. And here comes our beautifully remachined, redone head. Woohoo! All right, now we just got to do all the head bolts, push rods, and rocker arms. And we'll be a lot closer than we were earlier. hear it making all kinds of noises. Means it's working. Let me try to put number 1. Oh, we got plenty of compression in there. And this is ah, no, it's sucking my finger in. There we go. I'm actually curious to see how much PSI we're pushing without starting the engine. Just barely assembled engine. Let's see what we got. So I'm going to leave it here so I can have 2 hands on cranking. Up to 60 psi by hand. That's actually very solid, because I think this engine's going to be about 180 when it's being spun by a starter, but 60 psi is not bad. Well, this engine is fully assembled and it is ready to be dropped in. We got some more external parts to go on it right before we drop it in, but it'll be a few days till we can do that. Meanwhile, I gotta clean up the garage, put this motor to the side for now, and be pretty much ready for the drop in of the motor as soon as we get the other one out. So it'll be a few days. We'll catch you then. Well, it's a new day, actually evening. It's a Friday. Tomorrow I'm planning to swap a motor out of that Jeep and put this motor in it, but I want to do a little test. My Jeep's going to be the control, so what we're going to do is we're going to take my Jeep and Tanya's Jeep, put them side by side on the light and gun it up to like 45, 50 miles an hour, whatever the speed limit is on the street. And I want to see how much slower her Jeep is accelerating compared to mine. And then when we put this stroker engine in, I want to see how much faster it will be than my Jeep, because we know that strokers supposed to make more power. So we'll see what the difference is. We'll try to do maybe 1 or 2 pulls just to, you know, see the consistency, and that's about it. So stay tuned. We're about to hit the road and do it all safe. All right, so we're on the street that is 45 miles an hour, and we're about to do a test. 3, 2, 1, go. We're pretty much even. We're pretty much even. My transmission shifts sooner than yours, but we're pretty much even.
Yeah, we are. When I struggle.
Well, yeah, I know your uphill is struggling, but yeah, that's not bad. All right, folks, there you go. Her engine's still good. We'll see how much better it's gonna be, because that 4.0 in her car's still running very strong. So if anybody wants a good running engine, the head gaskets was redone on it about 4,000 miles ago. We still got a good one. Yeah, she's keeping up just fine with me. Good morning. Today is the day when we are pulling out this motor here and putting in that motor there. So I just did a compression test on this motor, and we had 150 to 145 all across the board. So this motor is still healthy. The head was redone on it 2 years ago in 21. So, well, a year and a half ago. And so far it's so good, but because she is putting so much weight on this Jeep and big tires and everything, we want to have a lot more horsepower. And eventually that guy will get it too, but budgets are budgets. So right now I gotta finish assembling some of the outside parts on this one and slowly start tearing apart this one. So hopefully by the end of the day, two things I can do: either pull this motor out and clean everything outside, because I got to replace her AC. Some of the lines are bad, so she never had a good AC in here, so we're going to be fixing that as well. And just cleaning up whole motor bay in general. That's the goal for today. But if I'm going to feel ambitious and everything's going to go according to plan really quick and easy, we might even drop that one in and get it plumbed up, and hopefully we'll be ready to roll soon as it's in there. So I'll do a lot of time lapse on this. I'm not going to be explaining how to tear a motor out of the XJs. It is time consuming and painful, especially when you gotta disassemble the whole front end, because you gotta use a crane to be able to lift the motor out. But I'm gonna use a cherry picker. We're gonna be dropping the wheels off, and I'm gonna be laying it down on the ground because it is tall. And so I'm gonna take up the whole grill and basically get the motor out. I done the same thing last winter on that Jeep, just swapped the motor. So here we're doing about the same thing. So I'm gonna start on it. I'll throw a little bit of time lapse of how I'm gonna be tearing it down. It's gonna be not too detailed, but at least you get the point that I do it all myself. Well, with the help of family members, we got the motor ripped out from the Jeep. And let's see, I think it's lunchtime. Whatever the time is, it's lunchtime. It's 2 o'clock. So, motor's out. Gotta clean it up a little bit here. Replace this line right here. This is our power AC, and I think it's clogged somewhere because she doesn't have a good AC in here. But everything else looks good. Gotta replace the motor mount. Actually, I probably will do. This one's brand new still. This one blew up, so gotta go get a new motor mount and a new header, because this one is cracked. This one has a crack right here, and I have some spare parts over there, but that's later. So this motor is going to be ready for a new home soon. Got to clean it up a little bit, take all the parts that I need off of it, the engine mounts and everything else, and we'll be good to go. There we go, half a day's of work, and we got the motor out. Time for lunch. take a break, and then start assembling this guy right here. All right, it's end of the day. Let's see, what time is it? It is 8:59, so it's 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. and we got the motor all assembled, everything in there. So we're gonna do a first fire up. Hold on to the camera, let's see what happens. Well, it's another day, another evening, and I figured out what the problem is. When I dropped the distributor into the motor, I got it to skip a 2-for-2 because my cylinder number 1 is this one right here, but if I put the top dead center, my striker is right in between them. So it's actually way too advanced, and that's why it won't keep idle. So I'm gonna take this apart, get it set to back to top dead center, and make sure I drop in the distributor properly, and we should be able to fire up and go for a spin. Okay, got that swapped out. Let's fire it up and see what happens. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. All right, it's purring like a kitten. A very tame beast. So nice and straight, no issues. We're just gonna try to bubble out the rest of the bubbles if there is any. I'm gonna get it up to temp. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna close off the front, get the grill on and everything, so it should be ready to roll. Because we got to do the break-in process of driving about 100 miles, and as soon as it gets up to temp, I'm gonna rev it up for about 2-3 minutes at like 3,000 RPMs, and then let it cool a little bit, and then we'll go out on a little drive. So while it's working, I'm gonna get the front assembled. All right, we got the engine swapped in, and we're gonna see a real quick little test off a light, if she's keeping up or not. Let's see how it goes. Waiting for the green. Green's about to turn on. Go. Hey, where you going? Where you going? So fast. All right. There you go, folks. A little bit more torque, a little bit more horsepower, but the same weight. And she's already going ahead of me. So she'll be beating me up the hills now. All right, let's roll home and finish up everything. Well, that concludes our engine swap, engine build, and getting this Jeep on the road so we can accumulate more upgrades. Next thing will be is bigger brakes, front long arm kit, And overall, better looks. Are you happy, Tanya, that your Jeep is coming along?
Yes.
Awesome. Now we just gotta go out and have some fun with you all. See you guys on the next adventure.